Oh, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to hopefully another beautiful day wherever you are. You might be laid back with your feet kicked up. You might be back on the bed, head looking up, phone above you. Don't drop your phone on your head. I've done that many a times. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you stopping by today. We're going to check out Mr. David Ackles. We're going to listen to this track, Montana Song. This is the final track off of his third studio album, American Gothic, released in 1972. We're listening to this track because it was suggested and sponsored by P. Dover. So, P. Dover, thank you so much for the recommendation, and thank you so much for the suggestion as well and the sponsorship. I've never heard of Mr. Ackles. I'm going to super quickly see if there's anyone else that's mentioned this particular track, but I don't believe I've ever seen his name pop up in the comments. So this will be completely new. But yeah, don't know what to expect. Okay. By the name of the album and the album cover, I'm getting folk. If it's anything other than that, then I'll eat my shoe. But folk is what I'm imagining when I'm looking at the album cover and the title. So let's go ahead and dive into it. We'll talk about it a little bit after, discuss it. Montana Song. Here we go.
I went out to Montana with a Bible on my arm.
Is this a Scott Walker-esque kind of song?
Looking for my fathers on a long abandoned farm. And I found what I came looking for.
Okay.
I drove into a churchyard of what used to be the town. Walked along a cow path through the fences falling down, till I found what I came looking for.
Like those strong strings coming up at that point. Does it change?
Dust of summer noons over grass long dying.
This is like symphonic folk. This is really kind of cool.
Read the stone and lumber rooms where my past was lying.
It's very cinematic.
High among hillsides and windmill bows, soft among oak trees and chimney stones, blew the wind that I came looking for.
This sounds very American Gothic, but like American West. Very Western.
And the wind blew over the dry land and dusted my city soul clean, to read in my great-grandfather's hand from his Bible newly seen. Born James McKinnon, 1862, married Leantha, 1884, two sons born in Montana, praise the Lord.
This is so interesting. This is like listening to a movie, like truly.
The gentle wind of passing time closed the Bible pages and took my hand and had me climb closer to the ages. picket fence, the lattice frame, the garden gone to seed, the anther with the fragile name, defying place and need.
This sounds like American
Declares
folklore.
this bit of prairie tame, and sees her fingers bleed, and knows her sons won't live the same, but she must live her creed. The fallen barn, the broken plow, the hoof-print hardened clay. Where is the farmer now who built his dream this way? Who felled the tree and cut the bough and made the land obey?
That's a good line.
Who taught his sons as he knew how, but could not make them stay? Who watched until the darkness fell, to know the boys were gone, and never loved the land so well from that day on.
I just love how cinematic this is. Like, the orchestration is very, very soundtrack-esque, and the way he weaves this tale around it is really well done.
Father James, they wrote him each a letter once a year, words of change that broke him with the new age that was here,
And the music sounds a little
and
bit
the new world
new.
they'd gone looking for.
See, the music changed as the new age was here, the new world they're looking for. This sounds like New York City, urban. That's good conducting. The snare to the hi-hat would have ride.
The clouds arose like phantom herds, and by the dappled lighting
He gets a little of that Scott Walker-esque.
I read again the last few words in a woman's writing. March 1st, 1921. Last night Papa died. Left one plow, a horse, his gun, this Bible and his bride. The long grass moved beside me in the gentle summer rain, and made a path to guide me to a sudden mound of grain.
A burn. A grave.
The man and wife are buried there, children to the land, with young green tendrils in her and seedlings in his hand.
This sounds like peace now. Resolve, or resolution, I should say.
I went out to Montana,
which makes sense. 30
with a
seconds
Bible on my arm, looking for my fathers on a long abandoned farm. And I found what I came looking for.
I love when we get a song that's like interesting, kind of different, kind of new, feels fresh, although 1972 was the release date on this one. So this feels like, to me, American folk Scott Walker. If I'm to dilute this into the simplest terms in which I can understand, that's what it sounds like to me. And that's what I thought at the beginning as he started singing, which the way that he tells a story, the way that he wraps us around his finger and sits us down like a class, and he sits in the chair, opens a book, and just sings this story to us with this rich voice that is rich but also easygoing, flows like the river, easy to listen to, very easy to understand. Like, really just a wonderful, gently commanding voice and a gentle giant kind of aura from him. I really enjoyed his delivery and how he tells his tale, because the tale is the song, right? For the most part. I mean, obviously you have all the orchestration that's happening behind, which is wonderfully captured and plays off of the lyrics and what he's saying. The most obvious example, like I said, during the track was when he mentions with the new world that was here and the new world they'd gone for, and the music changes into something that reminds me of like New York. It becomes very city-esque. It becomes, very like urban and high traffic and moving and busy. It's just a really cool change from the simplicity that was being built up before. There's some moments of brief drama. Near the end, a great, nice, peaceful resolution. The song moves through phases, specifically the conducting and the orchestra in a really cool manner. That I enjoyed how that's taken alongside of the music. And I'm curious, like, if you don't mind, I'm just going to go to the first track, which is American Gothic. I just want to know, and you guys can tell me as well, is this sort of sound from him, where it's primarily himself with an orchestra or something like that, is that kind of his sound? Or is this, like the outlier, basically? Because I'm just curious. I'm just going to skip to the middle of the song.
And he pretends
seems to hit the same, at least in that particular track, seems to hit a similar manner.
And that girl is the only girl.
Yeah, you knew Pete Over. You knew that I like Scott Walker and David Sylvian and singers like that, so you knew how to tickle my fancy and consider myself tickled. This was a really, really cool track to listen to, and the story was personal, and yet there was an exterior journey happening as well, as he's talking about going to Montana and searching for whatever he's looking for. Let's go ahead and see if we can find out what that was. I went out to Montana with a Bible in my arm, looking for my fathers on a long abandoned farm. I found what I came looking for. I like how this basically solves or ends every single stanza here. I drove into a churchyard of what used to be the town, walked along a cow path through the fences falling down, till I found what I came looking for. Through the dust of summer noons, over grass long dying, to read the stone and lumber ruins where my past was lying. High among hillsides and windmill bones, soft among oak trees and chimney stones, blew the wind that I came looking for. I also really like the writing because it is both poetic and yet very conventional, very easy to understand. Nothing, not too many hidden symbols, although there could, of course, be some in here. But like it's one of those things that I feel like if the writing is easy to pick up and understand, but you can also dive deep, you can also dig a little deeper and get a more personal, introspective meaning out of it, I feel. And that's great writing, where you can kind of please all audiences. And the wind blew over the dry land and dusted my city soul clean, right? He came from the city down here to the rural area to read in my great-grandfather's hand from his Bible newly seen. Born James McKinnon, 1862. Married Leantha, 1884. 2 sons born in Montana, praise the Lord. So he's just looking back at his family history, right? This is what he came looking for. The gentle wind of passing time closed the Bible pages and took my hand and had me climb closer to the ages. So now it's like he's really connecting with his past. I like how he uses the line, the wind picked up his hand and took him. The picket fence, the lattice frame, the garden gone to seed. Leantha with the fragile name to find place and need. Declares this bit of prairie tame and sees her fingers bleed and knows her sons won't live the same, but she must live her creed. The fallen barn, the broken plow, the hoofprint hardened clay. Where is the farmer now who built his dream this way? Who felled the tree and cut the bow and made the land obey? Who taught his sons as he knew how, but could not make them stay? I just love this really nostalgic look back for him personally into his family history, allowing himself to really envision what they had to go through, the life, the changes. Who watched until the darkness fell to know the boys were gone and never loved the land so well from that day on. Father James, they wrote him each a letter once a year, words of change that broke him with the new age that was here, right? Father, he was still on the farm, living his life, but they went into the city. The clouds arose like phantom herds, and by the dappled lighting, I read again the last few words in a woman's writing. March 1st, 1921, last night Papa died. Left one plow, a horse, his gun, this Bible, and his bride. Man, the writing is so strong. The long grass moved beside me in the gentle summer rain and made a path to guide me to a sudden mound of grain. Can I tell you, there's obviously writers of noteworthy literature, poetry, prose, stories, etc. of the past, right? That everyone knows, Edgar Allan Poe, Frost, the list goes on and on and on. I think when it comes to musicians sometimes, and I mean truly poets, such as, immediate example, Joni Mitchell, or in this particular case with this particular song, David Ackles, I think that some of them could be put among the same levels of those great writers of the past, you know? Because this would just be a really great story even without the music. And a great piece of writing. A man and wife are buried there, children to the land, with young green tendrils in her hair and seedlings in his hand, like still so much to grow. And of course, he repeats the beginning. I went out to Montana with a Bible on my arm, looking for my fathers on a long abandoned farm. And I found what I came looking for. So at the beginning, even though he says he found what he came looking for, we don't know. At the ending, as he tells us, and he repeats the lines, now we know, because we are put into the context alongside with him. That's sensational writing. Pete Dover, that was a wonderful recommendation. I really enjoyed that. I love a good story, and for how the music wrapped itself in a cinematic cloth around it, just weaving this really beautiful folky tapestry, I think was incredibly done. David Ackles, wonderful, wonderful piece of music. Let me know what you guys thought of it. Of course, in the comments down below. I pressed the wrong button. I appreciate you all being here. Thank you so much for spending a slice of your pie of time out of your day with me, and I hope you come back tomorrow. Now we can press it.